Welcome back to Snap de la Nature. Look at this tree. The reason why this episode is important to me is because I've been walking around this world my whole entire life, and I don't even know what this tree is, anything about this tree. I don't know what its specific significances are. I just really want to understand the knowledge from like what this tree, the benefits we can have from it, what this tree over here, let me get that tree over there. Like, I get all the basic stuff about trees, but I want to know the exact differences between each tree species and pick out their best attributes so I can share them with you. And this is part 1. We're out here at Blue Springs Lake in Blue Springs, Missouri. I figured this would be just a really good spot to find some trees. It looked really cool. Now let's go look at some trees. Come on, I'll show you. This is a pawpaw tree. It's actually a funny story how I learned about these trees and was able to find some. Remember the zebra swallowtail? Well, that's what led me to the discovery of this tree and how I was able to know exactly where to find some, because it turns out that the zebra swallowtail exclusively lays its eggs on pawpaw trees. So, I went out to find some near to where I found this butterfly, and sure enough, there were bunches of them everywhere, and I hadn't even noticed them. Here in my backyard, basically, my whole life, were the largest edible fruits indigenous to the United States, and I had no idea about them. These fruits taste like a mixture of banana and mango and smell like pineapple. Crazy, I know. They actually used to be a big part of cultivation, but their popularity died down when Americans no longer had to go to the woods for food. Also, coupled with the fact that these fruits don't ship well and are easily bruised. The earliest documented event of the pawpaw was in 1541 by a Spanish explorer named Hernando de Soto, who found Native Americans cultivating it. The word pawpaw is believed to be derived from papaya by explorers from the Caribbean areas who were familiar with the papaya fruit and thought it looked similar. Now this is a willow tree. A weeping willow to be exact, originally from China, which makes me question the validity of the character Grandmother Willow from the Disney movie Pocahontas, but this majestic legend is one of my personal favorites. Carl Linnaeus, the guy who standardized the modern way we classify organisms, falsely named this tree in 1736 because he thought it was the willow from the Bible verse Psalms 137:2, which is why its scientific name is Salix babylonica. The roots of the weeping willow are known to be aggressive and will bite if provoked. Just kidding, but they will mess up your foundation, so it's not wise to plant them close to your house. Folk medicine practitioners used willow bark tea as a remedy for fever and general pain, and it's interesting because modern scientists have discovered that willow tree bark contains salicylic, and that's the active ingredient in aspirin. This is a cottonwood tree, and this specific one is known to be the biggest tree in Missouri. Yes, that's right. This tree right here is the current state champion for biggest tree in Missouri. At Kessler Park in Kansas City, Missouri, you can visit the state's biggest tree. It is 125 feet tall, has a 120-foot crown spread, and its trunk has a width of 9 feet across. If you live near here, you gotta check it out. Interestingly enough, the eastern cottonwood is actually in the willow family, and its bark also contains the same healing properties as the weeping willow tree that we just discussed. This beast of a tree grows fast and can reach heights of 50 feet in 6 years with the right conditions, and a mature one consumes up to 200 gallons of water in a day during its growth cycle. This is a black walnut tree. I'm here in Independence, Missouri, and these black walnuts that you see now were part of a black walnut farm back in the day. And if you're from Missouri like I am, then you are probably familiar with these trees since Missouri has twice as many black walnut trees than any other state. In fact, 65% of the annual wild harvest of the black walnuts comes from Missouri. This tree has so many uses. If you've ever handled their fruits, you know that they stain your hands real good like, and it seems impossible to get off. In fact, early American settlers used it as hair dye. The brownish dye is extracted from the juicy husk of the walnut fruit. The wood of this tree is highly valuable because it's easily worked, very strong, and visually appealing. Throw out your maple syrup and get you some black walnut syrup to top them pancakes with, because the black walnut tree is good for tapping some sap, if you know what I mean. It doesn't produce nearly as much syrup as a maple tree would, but that's good news for you hustlers out there, because that drives the price way up. It produces a slightly more earthy and robust syrup, giving it a distinct flavor compared to other syrups. That's all for episode 8 of Snap de la Nature. Thanks for watching, and I hope it was as informative for you as it was for me. I mean, these trees, man, these trees. They're so dang cool. I love nature.